We have been lied to. Learning Finnish is not hard. If you go to a Finnish kindergarten and ask the kids if they can understand and speak Finnish, I bet as long as their parents are Finnish, everyone would raise their hands. So how is it that we say something like Finnish is hard when all of the Finnish children could speak it? Either they're geniuses or learning Finnish is not that hard. So if the Finnish education system is so good, why is it so bad at teaching Finnish to immigrants? Well, one option could be, like I said before, that the Finnish children are just geniuses and that the immigrants that come to Finland are just not that bright. I think the issue is with the way Finnish is taught to immigrants. The first issue I think that comes up with learning Finnish is that you have to understand that Finnish is, I hate to say it, a niche language, and most people will not have any exposure to Finnish before coming here. With a language like English, I feel that even if you don't study English, given movies and songs and just, social media and just pop culture, you are exposed to English all the time. With a language like Finnish, you have no concept of the language. And even once you come here, you then have to, first get used to the sounds, get used to the vocabulary, and get used to the grammar. And with the way Finns, here I hear people say that the words they bend the words, but to me I call that conjugating the words. Whichever word you want to use, that whole concept, is quite different for many people. So just getting used to all of these things, including the word bending and the grammar, takes time. And I think if you're coming and you're learning the language, I think you have to give yourself a little bit of grace and say, you know what, there's a lot to learn, so just slow down and give yourself time to just kind of get used to the vowels. We know what we mean by that. Get used to the spelling, get used to the way the words change and bend, and not get too stressed out and too discouraged by it, because it is a lot to take on all at once. I think most people that come to Finland and learn Finnish, it's done via the Immigrant Integration Program via the TE office. This is a one-year program where you're kind of thrown into the deep end and you have intensive Finnish language classes. I feel like we're not given enough time to get comfortable with the language and learn it properly so that we can actually master the language. And then we always are kind of on the back foot. If you think about it, let's say a typical Finnish person may study English for 5 to 10 years. Imagine if they were given 1 year to study English and then told, okay, that's it, now you know English. Obviously, that's ridiculous, and this is a language that, English being the language, whereby you're constantly exposed to it, and you've started studying when you are at a very young age. Now, I don't want to sound like I'm complaining about the Finnish language and that I want everyone to speak English. I actually think it's great that there is a Finnish language, and I am a little bit worried that there seems to be some pressure on the government to kind of let English come in and be a little bit more dominant, and I think that would be a real shame to do that. I think instead that Finnish language should be preserved, and the government should do a little bit better job of trying to teach the language and integrate people to be able to speak the language, so that it does develop and it kind of doesn't kind of fade away. So what do I think are some solutions? Well, first of all, I'll be the first to admit I don't think I have any great ideas, but I think the government should be looking for a variety of viewpoints and kind of see what people suggest. In my case, I don't speak Finnish because I really don't have any good Finnish friends. In fact, I wouldn't say that I've actually made any Finnish friends on my own since I've been here. Any Finnish people that I know are friends of my partner, and I don't see them that often that I would actually get an opportunity to speak Finnish enough. So I speak English at home, And with any people that I've met in Finland, they've all been pretty much native English speakers. Maybe one or two aren't, but they speak English very well. So I speak English with everyone. The only people I speak Finnish with are people I don't know. So if I go to the supermarket or if I get on the bus or something like that, a couple of my neighbors I actually will speak in Finnish as well. But I might only speak to them once a month. So yeah, so I think that's one idea. I think the government ought to think about ideas about ways to get immigrants and Finnish people to interact a bit more. As I was talking about before, I think it would be good if the government also had some sort of program where they said, we're going to teach Finnish to foreigners, but almost more like for people who want to learn it as a hobby as opposed to being tied to employment or getting a job, but just people who want to just continue to progress their Finnish skills. And that's something I would love to do. I mean, I think maybe that's kind of what Kansalaisopisto is for, but I feel like it doesn't go very deep. It's kind of superficial, and I would like something that was that really taught you to a high level Finnish language. I think employers could do something whereby maybe they could hold courses in the offices and, either before work or after work. But, I'm not suggesting that it's paid time, but just so that, the employees didn't have to go yet to somewhere else. So if once or twice a week, someone came to the offices and delivered the courses, that might encourage people who wanted to continue studying, improving their Finnish, to continue to do that. I don't know if that actually exists, but if it does, then great. And if it does, it'd be great if it could get expanded, or even if, as I'm talking about this, even if, let's say, there's an S-Market near me, if S-Market did it for their employees, but could they also invite people who don't work there, and just to give more opportunities for people to learn the languages, so that you're not necessarily employed by the company, but they open up their meeting rooms so that other people could attend. So these are my ideas about learning Finnish. Everyone says learning Finnish is hard, but again, I go back to the idea that if it's so hard, how is it that all children learn how to speak Finnish? It can't be that hard because they can't all be Einsteins. So for those of you who have made it this far in the video, I'd love to hear your thoughts. What do you think that we immigrants could do to learn Finnish better? What do you think that you Finnish people could do to help us with our learning abilities? And what do you think companies could do? What do you think the government to do? I think, I think that the solution to this problem is that we attack it from many different angles. So if you have any thoughts on this topic, please drop them down below in the comments. I would love to hear what you think. That's it for this week. Bye-bye.